Hey guys, it is Chris back here again with another episode of Magic the Gathering. We are in some Brawl today, and we will be playing with King Narfi, the Betrayer. The reason we're playing with him is because he shares the name with a Skyrim character, and that's the entire reason. There are also some snow and zombie things going on. As I say that, we draw one of our few non-snow zombie creatures, a demon. But, you know, demons, zombies, they kind of all go together. I mean, necromancers can make deals with demons. It happened in Magic the Gathering. It was a big plot point for Liliana for a long time there. But we have our snow permanents. We have an ambitious Kraken that we want to cast that is very useless after it's been cast, but it's still a snow Kraken, and that's why we're using it. This deck is literally search snow, put in anything that could be considered passable, put in some mana rocks, and then fill it out with some strong support pieces. Some reanimation, some tutors, some board wipes, and airboats. Good black decks generally have a lot of reanimation, but we are not a good black deck. We're okay. May have fired off our extinction event a little bit early there, but just trying to get through this early game. Pelucanos would have been a bit tough for us to get through. 6/6s, we don't have many of those. In fact, I think we have about one. I think that our demon is the only 6/6 we have. Our Kraken's bigger, it's an 8/8, but Pelucanos comes back from the graveyard at the 12/12, which is more mana efficient for a better body. So I was looking through the MTG client earlier in the morning I recorded this, trying to figure out what I was going to play. I was initially going to do a 3-match series around Winota and some of the blue-green fractal cards, because a lot of the creatures that make fractals when they enter the battlefield are humans. So you can basically snowball Winota with them, because you attack with your Mana Dork and whatever other early drops you have that are non-humans. They swing in while Winota's on the battlefield. They put in 2 or 3 humans. Those humans enter the battlefield, and they create fractal, which means that your opponent can't just block out all your non-humans, and you end up with an empty board. It's not the most efficient Winota plan, to be honest, because Winota also just generally, when you're playing a Winota deck, ideally you want to win the game on the turn that you get her down on the field, but our standard options aren't that great for it at the moment. You can kind of build a red-black deck around it where it ends up being not a turn of the attack type kill, but more of a turn after the attack, because you can use the white human that makes humans soldier tokens equal to the devotion of white. We're going to cast our demon here. It's the best blocker we have. I've been talking a lot over this match, just talking about other things, but we are losing this match. I have no illusions about that. We fired off our board wipe a little too early, and as a result, they now have a board, but to be fair, they're a reanimation deck. They were always going to have a board. We probably just should have kept our one board wipe, our exile-based board wipe, a little bit longer, but I honestly don't know of any way we could have gotten around Pelucanos just murdering everything that we were trying to do. So while I think it was a misplay, I think with incomplete information, give ourselves a pass in that regard. They gave us the Grim Tutor as opposed to the Eat to Extinction. We can Grim Tutor up. I guess the food semi-wrath. Each player sacrifices 3 creatures. It's probably the best we've got at the moment. I don't actually know if it'll win us any amount of leverage in the game, but... Oh, they had in Garrick's Wake. Not in Garrick's Wake. Return of the Wild Speaker. Which means we die. But we're gonna draw a card before we die. Hey, there's a ring mana rock, and it's a snow permanent. It's good. Well, as with always with Brawl, we will have a second game. And our second game is against Alaska Pizza. It's a name I can appreciate. Pizza's really good. I live in Alaska, but I do respect pizza. Free mull our hand away into a much better hand. Have the 1 mana snow grower. Kind of like the level up mechanic, but it's a little less standardized. We had a couple of those. Like, I've never even played with the level up mechanic. I only know of it from the tree warden that was in, what do you call it? Cons, yeah, it was in the cons block, I think. Warden of the First Tree. Got one of those either at I think it was at a pre-release. Don't think I built a deck around it, I had other things to do. I think I played Teamer and then a Tarka at both of the pre-releases. There were 3. I think I might have missed one. Yeah, I think I missed Fate Reforged. Not Fate Reforged. Yeah, Fate Reforged. So we're going to level up our creature here, and then we're going to swing in. 4 mana. We can Taste of Death if we need to. We're not too worried. We also have the blocker there. If they decide to attack and we can just block with our 2/1 Death Toucher, that also solves the problem. That should be a lot kinder for us if they solved it that way. A Shaya comes down. I don't know if that is a Shaya. For some reason I think it is, and that means that's what I'll call it. So part of the reason behind this deck, as I mentioned in the previous in the intro, was not mainly, it's literally about Skyrim. I've been playing that in my spare time, and never made the connection that Narfi was similar in name. I don't know if they have the exact same name, because I didn't do any checking and it was just a spur of the moment impression that made me decide to build the deck, but So we're gonna block a Shaya, save 8 damage. Our commander will not go back to the command zone because he is one of the commanders that's basically command tax free. So basically what we want to do here is level up to draw a card. And then we can just play a chump blocker afterwards. Hope they put down another creature. We drew the land that we would need for Taste of Death, which is very good for us. We also have Blood of the Snow as a backup. Although our opponent does have a pretty decent board. 7-16 though, we still are in the lead. 7-10 as I say it. We're not terribly concerned about how this ends. Taste of Death gives us 3 food and wipes their board. We had no creature, so it didn't hurt us. And then Frost Augur will be able to help us draw out of this little hole we find ourselves in. Our opponent thinking over their options. Cultivate is an option. I don't know if it's a correct option in the situation, but if you need a land drop, you need a land drop. I think they could have cast Vorinclex there. But they might not have been able to. Yeah, in fact, if they didn't have a land drop, they couldn't have, could they? So we're going to play our Runescar Demon. Runescar Demon is not the plan of this deck. I don't know why he's decided to show up so much today. So we're going to get a reanimation spell, I think, and then something else. We might get a tutor to reanimation spell. Reanimation and inscriptions aren't bad. That can help us blank our opponent's hand or remove a smaller creature that they get. We have Blood in the Snow to handle something awful if that comes up. And then we have the emergency Blood in the Snow if we need it. So they play a 1/1 that enters the battlefield and puts a counter on something. They put it on their Ancient Green Warden. That means we can't just block it out with our demon, which is unfortunate. Then they Primal Might to get rid of our demon. I guess they're going to swing in here. We'll block, and then we'll use Frost Dogger's ability to get a card out of it, hopefully. King Narfi's Betrayal is not a card. Sad days have been achieved. Turn of the Wild Speaker draws him a bunch of cards. How funny that we have ran into that card twice today. Blood on the Snow. Might be a bit early, but it can't really stand with the board as it is. We're actually going to get back the Death Touch creature here. As far as creatures go for us, it can provide us the best options as far as blocks go, and we can gain a couple of life on the way. And that returns our Silver Smoke Ghoul, so... Yorion comes down. Extra land comes down with him thanks to a spell. He is just the type of creature we would like to chump block, though. Because he doesn't have trample. And as far as chump blocking goes, things without trample are high on the list of things we want to chump block. They fight us out, which is sad. But we draw a removal spell, and it happens to be a zombie, so it's a flavor win. Turns out Standard did not have as many good zombies as I would have liked, but... we're going to return Narfi here. That gets us 4 damage on board. Vorinclex can come down and smash our face, but if he does... we'll pretty much have lethal on the swing back. Our opponent does opt to play Vorinclex. They swing in. They play a Hydra. And they prove me wrong too, because we can't... oh, well, we did draw an answer to this board state. That will actually remove either Vorinclex or the Hydra, and we can just pump out a bunch of creatures. We actually opt to make them discard their cards to ensure that nothing funny is waiting for us in there. We don't attack in here because that Hydra just sponges damage. Next turn we can just remove it and attack in. So our second game actually went a lot better than the first. I don't think this is a good deck by any stretch of the imagination. I think you could probably build Narfi better if you weren't trying to go for like a zombie snow tribal. So we activate our priest, kill the Hydra. It's the bigger threat of the two, and then we can just swing in. This should be game if they didn't draw anything. Our generals have one last fight out, and we have won the game. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, remember to leave a comment and subscribe. Bye for now.